What's up guys, Ranger here, and I'm back with another reaction, which is to the 6th episode of Season 6 of MLP, which is No Second Prances. And a friend of mine sent me a message and said you were going to freak, basically you were going to freak whenever you watch this episode. A couple of your favorite characters make cameo appearances, and I'm like, oh boy. So I've been wanting to get to this episode a lot sooner, but I just now got the opportunity. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get on with this. So starting the video on 3, 2, 1, click. Not Twilight.
First lesson of the day, we very carefully set the table without using magic, so that Did you? How? When? What? What? I said no magic. You were supposed to do it by hook so I could work in a friendship lesson. Oh,
that's adorable.
I set the table and just kind of went for it. Well, if you hadn't used magic, you'd have heard me say, this plate represents your head, this spoon is your heart, and the knives are sharp.
Adorable.
The metaphors make more sense when you're actually setting the table.
Adorable.
Should I change it back? I just want to make sure you're ready for this dinner. Princess Celestia will be joining us tomorrow night to see how the friendship lessons are going.
Funny, every time.
If it's just you, me, and Princess Celestia, why are there 4 seats? Well, the whole point is for you to bring a new friend. That way the princess will see for herself just how
So you invite a date?
And how good a teacher you have. I can't choose. I like all your friends. That's the best part. You have to make a new friend.
What?
New friends? Hey, maybe I'll just force friendships by magically enslaving the entire population of Ponyville. Starlight. Kidding.
Okay, I love that. I love that. I love that. Okay, I love the continuity, call back to that. And I love the... Okay, first off, hey Derpy. Okay, first of all, we have some really adorable faces already with this episode. And I love the concept of what's going on. And I think it's also really cool. Again, we got Starlight Glimmer here. And they're continuing with that continuity with her. And I love the reference to like the first season, or to like season 5 with her.
Let's see. Make new friends.
Hey Colgate, Carrot Top,
friendliest place in
Amethyst.
Austria. Shouldn't be hard. Need to make a new friend, huh? I know just the pony for you. Miss Starlight Glimmer.
How'd you know?
Mrs. Cake. How are you, dearie? Are you baking? Can I help?
Dang!
Mrs. Cake, look what your new friend made you.
New friend, I like the sound of it. Howza, wowza! Oh, are you trying to put me out of business with your fancy magic thingy? What's a cake?
No.
Sorry. In her defense, it is delicious.
Big Mac.
I think I have just the pony for you, Starlight. Meet Big Mac.
The shipping will commence now.
Yup.
He's not much of a talker.
Nope.
Well, that's too bad. I love a good conversation.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you did something! Whoa, what's happening? I feel really weird. I'm talking so much, and I'm so articulate, enunciating with such precise pronunciation. Annie Apple awoke and accidentally ate an auburn azalea. Make it stop!
Oh gosh, poor Big Mac. Oh.
I can't be friends with some pony who doesn't talk. And I guess my first instinct shouldn't be to magically command ponies to act the way I want them to. All right, I'll change it back. The trick to finding a new friend is to render yourself radiant. First impressions count a great deal, you know. I'm glad you all got past my first impression. Well, every pony deserves deserves a second chance.
Now, I have a top-notch idea. I'm thinking pastel silk here and here, with crinoline underneath.
You really think a new outfit will help me meet ponies?
Oh, with the right outfit, you can do anything, darling.
Whoa.
When will it be ready?
3 weeks.
No!
Dinner's tomorrow.
Well then, how about a hat from the clearance bin?
Ouch!
Maybe not.
No pony's gonna make friends with you because of your outfit. The only thing you want a new friend draped in is coolness.
Like you?
Yeah, but you already know me, so... Spitfire!
Sorry. Who's that?
Only the Wonderboltiest pony in the Wonderbolts. Come on, I'll introduce you. You coming or what?
I guess my first question would be, what's a Wonderbolt?
Oh my god!
Never heard of the Wonderbolts? Where have you been?
I want to know who animated that scene.
Enslaving villages, I guess.
Right.
Aw.
You're adorable, but probably not what Twilight had in mind.
Mhm.
What is going on?
Rose luck.
This is Ponyville.
A rose.
I can't make a friend here. There's got to be something wrong with me. Okay, calm down.
Cloud
Be
Chaser!
friends with a total stress case.
Lyra and Bon Bon.
Stop stressing. Stop stressing!
Calmly walk away. Or poof into non-existence. That works too. Oh. But biceps.
This is just what I needed.
Or bulk biceps, that's it.
Tell me about it. You ever have one of those days? For me, they're all one of those days. I'm gonna start coming here every time I visit Ponyville. I'm not from here either. I've been trying to make friends, but it's not easy. They're not saying it, but I think every pony knows about my past. I may have been a tiny bit completely and utterly evil. Ponies judge me on my past, too. Finally, a pony I can relate to.
Soup spoon, salad fork, pasta spoon, strawberry pick.
Interesting.
I'm beginning to think that after friendship, the
Wait a
greatest
minute.
magic of all is proper silverware placement.
Twilight, guess what? I made a new friend!
I'm hoping it's
Fantastic
lightning dust.
news. She's great. Great! She's powerful.
Powerful.
I'm hope.
She's hello.
Wait. Trixie!
Princess.
Trixie?
You
I love the
know
intro
each
for
other?
her. Oh,
Say
yes.
that. We've had our differences. What matters is Twilight gave me a second chance, and I appreciate it.
So,
The
what
I
brings
want
you
to
Ponyville?
kill
The
you, so
great
get out of my
and
face.
powerful Trixie
Smile.
has come to perform a new stage show of grand illusion. I am calling it the Humble and Penitent Trixie's Equestrian Apology Tour.
That's kind of a mouthful. It's a working title.
Starlight? A moment. Over here.
Well, it's a start. Let's go
I know
for
I
it.
said make friends with any pony, but, well, with Trixie's past and your past, I'm not so sure she's the best first friend.
Oh, come on. It's not like they're going to team up and completely destroy everything.
But whatever she did,
Although that would
you've
happen in a fan
forgiven
fiction, I'm
her,
sure.
Right?
Of course. It's just, she wasn't the nicest pony.
Well, you did say any pony, and
Yeah.
I just assumed that you'd trust me to make my own friends the way Princess Celestia trusted you.
You're right. I trust you. Just be back in time for the dinner.
Thanks, Twilight. You won't regret it.
I hope not.
See you in the next episode of Turnabout Storm, Trixie.
This magic show is gonna be the greatest thing Ponyville's ever seen.
I shipped them to raindrops.
Every pony always says they'll give you a second chance, but deep down, they never forget.
That's what I'm worried about. What is it?
I heard what Twilight said about me, and she's right. I wasn't very nice. So I'd understand if you didn't want to be friends.
Who says we didn't?
Kidding? You're the first pony I've met who has any idea how I feel.
Can you keep a secret?
What are friends for?
The things I've done, I did them because I was jealous of Twilight. She's just the best at everything, and I wanted to beat her at something. Your secret's safe with me. Thanks. Want to help me unpack my wagon?
Okay,
I spend a lot of time
I'm
on the
so
road
glad
with
that
my
Trixie
wagon, so it might be
is getting a solid redeeming episode.
Maybe
And it's great to see her out of the
pretty
costume
good at
and just be
organizing stuff.
Trixie.
Magic props, brainwashed crowds.
Pinky, Twilight.
I'll catch up. I think there's something in my hoof.
Sure, the wagon's right around the corner.
I also love how Trixie isn't.
So,
I saw this image on Derpy
Brew.
Brew,
Friend.
edited
Great.
with
Thanks for
Velvet
asking
Remedy
in a
and Little
completely
Pip.
not creepy way.
Because, you know, if it isn't working out for any reason, I could introduce you to my friend here.
Bush.
Nice to meet you.
Oh no, you can come out now.
Final!
You like music, right? DJ Pone 3.
Oh my gosh, they
is your
named
friend
her.
for tonight's incredibly important dinner with Celestia. You know, if you decide to make a last-minute change.
So, back at your castle when you said, I trust you, you meant, I don't trust you.
Who can really say?
I love how Vinyl's
Said
just...
what? I know I can't. Can you? Starlight, I'm just trying
See
to
you later,
look out
Vinyl.
I appreciate it, but you're wrong about Trixie. She's just like me. We have a real connection.
That's kind of what I'm afraid of. Oh, what about her?
Derpy! Oh, Derpy!
Please, Twilight.
Oh, Derpy.
I know you're trying to help, but I need to make friends on my own if I'm going to become a better pony.
But do you really think Trixie's the one to help you with that?
Wow, Trixie was right. You're not really giving her a second chance. I wonder what that says about how you feel about me.
Oh, gosh. Cranky!
Oh, now he'd be perfect.
I was thinking, you said Twilight is better than you at everything, but that's not true. You're better at magic.
Only when I'm wearing a soul-sucking evil amulet. So, thanks. Funny story. Don't need to get into it.
I meant stage magic.
Well, of course. Great. Yes. Powerful, obviously. But I'm not the best. As great and powerful as I am, there's one trick I've never been able to do. The Moonshot Manticore Mount Dive. Only one magician has ever pulled it off. My hero, Houdini. You are supposed to blast yourself into the open mouth of a hungry manticore. After the manticore chews you up and swallows you, you magically step out of a box on the other side of the stage. Completely unharmed!
That sounds very...
Dangerous.
I was gonna say cool.
I knew I liked you for a reason. I don't know how he did it. If I tried it, I'd get chewed up and swallowed by that manticore.
Not if you could use real magic.
Obviously. Way to rub it in.
No, I mean, I could help. You could start the trick, and right before you got chewed up, I could use magic to save you and make you appear in the black box.
I guess that would work. But if you made one mistake, I'd be a goner.
When it comes to magic, I don't make mistakes. Maybe I could be your magic show helper pony.
We call it
Assistant.
assistant in the magician biz. And no pony's ever offered to help before.
Well, I'd be honored.
I love
You may
the
have
fact.
just made my great and powerful magic show even better, which I didn't think was possible. We're gonna blow
Okay.
Oh,
I can't.
I cannot wait to see the
Tonight's
full
this
poster of that on
incredibly
Derpy
important
Brew.
dinner with Twilight.
I cannot wait to see that.
Can I vent for a minute? What are friends for? Even after Twilight says she trusts me, she clearly doesn't trust me enough to choose my own friends. I guess you were right. No second chances.
I wish I could say I was surprised. Well, lucky for Princess Twilight, I have my magic show tonight. If you have
The same
to
night
go
of the
to
dinner.
I completely understand. I just hope I find a way to survive the moonshot manticore mouth dive without my new assistant.
Or you could invite Trixie to come to the dinner.
Starlight Glimmer should be here any minute. Any minute now. How about I introduce everyone? Our friendship lessons are going so well. She made 3 new friends. She has such great taste in friends. I don't know where she would have learned that.
Starlight Glimmer? I thought you said nose hair trimmers. What's
What?
going on? I'm hungry. And my nose is too hairy.
Cranky Doodle, you're so funny. If you'll excuse me, I'm gonna check the kitchen. Maybe she
Celestia's
got
unamused.
lost amongst the
Hey, Derp. Hey, bud.
artichokes. Starlight? Has anyone seen Starlight Glimmer? I'm looking for her. Trixie.
Again, I love that
This
poster.
is the humble and penitent Trixie's equestrian apology tour?
Ain't that a mouthful of molasses?
It's a working title. This is going to be the greatest night of my
It's
life.
kind of a bit too late to
Excuse me.
make for it to be a working title. With
I'm so
draft
glad
already
we're not at that boring
completed
dinner.
and finalized.
Ahem. You just decided
I love-
to
ooh,
skip
I
our
love the
dinner
lighting.
without telling me? Are you aware that at this very moment, Princess Celestia is waiting for you at a table with exquisite silverware placement? Yes, but this is exactly why I didn't want you to make friends with Trixie.
Oh,
You still don't trust me. But guess what, Princess? It doesn't matter if you want to give me a second chance or not. Starlight had to choose between you and me. And she chose me. Your pupil chose me. So, I win.
You win? That sounds like you just made friends with me to beat Twilight.
Exactly. Wait! I mean, no! I got caught up in the moment. I like you. Beating Twilight is just a bonus. Oh, saying that didn't help, did it?
I should have known. Nobody else in Ponyville wanted to be my friend. Why would you?
Wait! It's not like that! I am your friend.
Well,
jeez.
you won. I hope you're happy.
Looks like the great and powerful Trixie is back to a solo show.
Trixie?
Which is exactly the way she likes it. Thank you, Princess Twilight, for getting rid of that annoying pony who wanted to be my first friend.
Stop
I am
lying to
not
yourself,
sad
Trixie.
at all. I definitely don't feel like my heart is breaking into a million pieces.
Jeez.
Come on, come all. Come and see the pathetic and friendless Trixie's way to go, dum-dum. You really messed it up this time, Repentance Tour. It's a working title! Behold, your fears come true. A pony-eating manticore.
You're not actually going to go through with that,
For
are you?
tonight, the great and powerful Trixie will be performing the Moonshot Manticore Mouth Dive. Now, save your gasps for when I defy the beast's jaws of doom and appear inside that black box. I was supposed to perform this trick with my great and powerful assistant, who was also my great and powerful friend.
Starlight, when I first came to Ponyville, Princess Celestia gave me room to make my own decisions and my own friends.
I need to give you the same freedom. I shouldn't have tried to pick and choose your friends for you. Just like me, you have to make your own decisions and your own friends. But what if Trixie really was using me just to one-up you? From what I've seen, she's the real thing. But it's not my place to judge. It's all up to you.
Starlight, if you're out there and you still want to be friends, let's be great and powerful together. Please? Behold, the great and powerful Trixie. And now, I'm proud to introduce my great and powerful assistant and best friend, Starlight.
Oh. Oh.
Trixie, what do you want?
I was wrong. I'm sorry. And I have to hand it to you. I could never have pulled off a trick like that.
Thank you, Princess.
How do you get your hair to do that all the time?
Oh, oh my god! Oh my gosh! Oh boy. Okay. Perfect ending gag. Perfect ending there. I mean, that's just perfect. That was genius. 'Twas genius. Okay. Now, time for the analysis. Sorry about the sudden change in camera angle. My camera actually fell off the moment that I hit record, so I had to reposition it. Okay. I can see, I've seen a couple of people make mentions about this episode, and that this was a really sweet and heartwarming episode, and I can see exactly why. There is a lot going on in this episode, and there's so much to say. First off, the story, and the story of Twilight, it's a really heartwarming and really emotional and relatable thing. Trixie, Starlight Glimmer wanting to try to make a new friend. Hang on, let me make sure that it's working. Okay, yeah, it's working. Okay, switch my headphones back. Yeah, I think it was really interesting how she tried to make friends with a few different ponies, and how every single pony that she talked to, Rarity, Twilight, Rainbow Dash, Pinky, all had a different... I mean, they tried to help Starlight to become friends with someone that they knew. But it wasn't... There was no compatibility. There was no connection between them. And that's very much true in real life. I mean, you can have three people, two of them are best friends, and the other two might talk to each other, but they might not necessarily be best friends. Two would get along better than the other two would. That's very much relatable in real life. And it was very cool. Twilight was so much, to me, like a mother or like older sister figure here, wanting Starlight to try to make friends. And she tried to help Starlight to make friends with ponies that she thought would be good for her. But Starlight had her own ideas. She wanted to, I mean, she ended up meeting someone that was compatible with her, someone that she could actually relate to. And Twilight didn't trust her. I mean, it was Trixie, and Twilight didn't trust her because of what had happened in the past. And there's, again, oh my gosh, there is such relatability. There is such a true essence to that actual story, to that concept. There is just so much there that is relatable. And again, Twilight to me just seemed like she seemed definitely like a teacher or a mother or a sister figure here. And like, she wanted to help Starlight, but Starlight had to try to find somebody that she was compatible with. And it just so happened that that person was actually Trixie. And Twilight didn't trust Trixie. Twilight, I mean, it was so cool. I mean, it was really cool how that came back full circle. Twilight realized that she was, I mean, Starlight told Twilight that if Twilight didn't trust Trixie because of her past, then how did she really feel about Starlight? And Twilight realized that she was closing Starlight off, that she was limiting her because of her own thoughts. And on one hand, I can completely understand Twilight wanting to try to help Starlight to be friends with somebody whom she thought was good for her, safe. But Twilight learned that, realized that Starlight needed to make her own choices based on her own judgment, her own instincts. She needed to follow her heart. She needed to do what she thought was the right thing. And she found what she thought was a friend, and which Trixie was. But then she thought that she had been betrayed, used. And it really hurt her. And how many of us can relate to that? How many of us have had encounters with people whom we thought were friends or family whom we were once close to that just used you? You thought they were there for you, and then they just threw you down. And it hurts. It hurts so much whenever that happens. And Trixie realized, she was admitting that she wanted a friend, and she finally found one, and she was lying to herself that she wanted to be alone. And again, that's so relatable, because there's so many times like that. I've seen it before, that it's so much easier to lie to yourself and tell yourself that you want to be alone, because you can't face the reality. You can't face that heartache. You can't face that hurt. And so again, it was such a relatable and true story of Starlight trying to make a friend and having to try to find someone that was compatible with her, someone that she could relate to on her own level. And she had a bad past. She had done things in her past that she wasn't proud of. And she's still living with that. And she's still having to live with that. And again, I love the fact that they're bringing in that continuity. And I know in some ways it could work in a cartoon for people to be like, oh, we completely forgive you. But again, I love the essence of reality here, in that she's still having to bear those burdens. She's still having to deal with that and those old wounds. She's having to deal with the past and try to move on little by little. And it's affecting her. It's a consequence. It's a consequence of bad actions, of bad decisions. And again, it's very much relatable. And every one of us has been there before. We've made bad decisions, and we've had consequences that we had to live with. And sometimes it feels like you're doing okay, and sometimes something reminds you of it. And you realize, I mean, you begin to think back to how stupid that, I mean, you begin to feel stupid. You think how stupid that you felt, and how stupid that you were for making that decision in the first place. And so, Starlight's she's still dealing with that. And Trixie is dealing with the exact same thing. She's dealing with that. She's feeling that neglect and that betrayal. She's feeling untrusted by everyone, and because nobody wants to trust her because of what had happened before. And the title for this No Second Prances, you know, prance ponies, but again, you know, it's a take on the title No Second Chances. And I think I'm myself am one of those people that I believe in forgiveness. I believe in giving somebody forgiveness. But if somebody doesn't want forgiveness and they just want to keep doing what they're doing, if it, you know, I mean, again, how many times have we seen someone like a family member? I mean, I can relate to this very, very much. There was some family members of mine that did some things to us in the past, and they don't feel sorry for what they done. To them, they did nothing wrong. And if they ever came up to me and apologized, I honestly wouldn't know whether to, accept their apology or not. It depended on whether or not that they really wanted forgiveness, if they really were sorry for what they done. If you forgive somebody and then they turn around and do the same thing again, and then it shows that they really didn't want to make amends for what they had done. They really didn't want, they didn't care whether they got your apology or not, really. They just did it to look good. And again, that has happened before in real life. And so Trixie and Starlight are both trying to deal with that. And so within the turmoil, basically, of their present lives, of them having to deal with what had happened in their past, they managed to find each other. They found a friendship and made that friendship work. And so, again, it's very much relatable. I love how that they did the story. I mean, I absolutely love how they did the story. This was, in fact, a very heartwarming and sweet episode. And I loved how they did that. And there was the concept there was like 3 different stories going on here at one time. Twilight trying to let Starlight make her own decisions for whom she thought would be a good friend, whom she trusted, whom she could trust. And she was having to let go. She realized that she was going to have to do what Celestia let her do, make her own decisions. She gave her the freedom to make her own choices, to make her own verdicts, her own judgments. And instead of being closed off and, having things laid out for her, here's the path you need to take. It's, you choose the path. And Twilight realized that she needed to let Starlight choose her own path. And again, that's very much in reality. I mean, every one of us as a human being, we're free to choose the path that we want to trod, but the path that we choose isn't always going to be a good path for us. Every single one of us is going to we've all made mistakes, we've all chosen a wrong path, we've had to try to find our way back. And there's going to be times like that in the future as well. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to choose a wrong path. But I think in a way it's those mistakes that helps us to choose the right path for us, the path that we want to try to stay on for ourselves, to help us, to help others, to be good for ourselves, to be good for others, for those around us. And we're free to make the choices. Yeah, but that's why we have a conscience. That's why we have common sense, is to help us. That's why we have a heart, is to help us to choose what is right, what feels right to us. And so that's what Twilight realized. She had to let Starlight make her own choice. And for Starlight, she had to make the choice of being friends with Trixie or not. And whenever she thought Trixie was had betrayed her, Twilight helped her to understand. Twilight helped Starlight to realize that Trixie needed another chance to prove that she was a friend, and Starlight gave it to her. And Trixie really wanted that friendship, and Starlight wanted that friendship, and so they became friends. And I love that. I love that so much. And so and again, there was there was Starlight wanting to try to find a friend, having to deal with the burdens of the decisions that she had made in the past, of her past actions, and then she had to try to basically start fresh, start anew again. And even though she's friends with the main six, Twilight wanted her to make a new friend, somebody that she could make herself. And it was a challenge for her, but she was able to do it. And then we have the third story with Trixie as well. Trixie coming back, and we got to see more in depth again of like her having to deal emotionally and mentally with her past actions, of having people whisper behind her back, and her knowing, her saying that about some people don't believe in second chances. So some people don't believe in forgiveness, and that's true. And she was having to deal with that, and watching it, it's hard to see her having to deal with that. And yes, she made some bad choices, but we can tell that she, as well as Starlight, they regret the actions that they made. They feel remorse, they feel regret for what they had done, and they were shown a new path. And in a sense, that's exactly like some people are. Some people, they don't know any other paths except for the ones that they're on. It takes somebody to open it takes somebody else, somebody that cares to open their eyes and say, hey, this isn't the path you need to be on, this is tearing you apart. And, let me help you. Let me help you see a new path. Let me help you. Let me light the way for you. And that's exactly like with human beings. Sometimes there are those of us who are lost in a dark cloud. We're lost in a dark void. And it takes someone who comes along that wants to help us, that wants to be a real friend, to pull you out of that darkness, show you the light, and help you find your way, and help you realize there's more than what you thought. And they just pull you out. And whenever you feel that feeling, and sometimes like this, I can only imagine how small that Trixie especially felt, feeling like nobody trusted her, and the only person that she had was herself. To imagine that feeling like you are the only person, that nobody else trusts you, it's a grave, incredibly dark thought. And then whenever you think there's just one person that cares, it's like such a weight has been lifted off of you. It's something you want to grasp onto, something you want to hold onto for the rest of your life. And that is true friendship. That is true friendship. And that is what Starlight was able to give to Trixie. And that is what Trixie was able to help to give to Starlight. More so the former than the latter, but still, they were able to show each other friendship and help each other and help to start a new life for both. And so, again, this was just a beautiful episode. It was so wonderful in the story. I absolutely love the story. I absolutely adore it. There's so much relatability. And, again, there's like 3 different stories going on here, and they all fit so incredibly well. I'm stunned that they fit that story into the amount of time that they had to work with. I'm honestly shocked. And so, it literally, the story for this is just incredible. And so, I have to say to everybody, to the writers for this episode, again, this is another beautiful episode, and this is, we had a lot of episodes in Season 5 that were just hard on the emotions. They just had such strong relatability, strong emotions just pouring out of the episodes. This is another one, and this fits right in there. And again, I absolutely love this episode. I love it for the story, I love it for the characters that it brought back, for the jokes, for the gags. There actually, I mean, and there was some gags, yes, there was some comedy, but this was just such a dramatic episode. And so, again, I absolutely adore this episode. And so to everybody that worked on this episode, again, thank you so much for this wonderful episode. This is just incredible. Now, some other things to talk about. This is the gags and such. We got to see some cute faces. We got to see some other things. We got to see Mrs. Cake. And we got to see something where we got to see just how powerful, just how good that Starlight is with magic. And that interaction between her and Mrs. Cake. Mrs. Cake was afraid of being outclassed. She was afraid of being run out of business by somebody who showed more prowess, because she was able to use magic and be able to make a cake, extremely quickly. Now, one could say that Mrs. Cake looked over a possibility to help the business grow. If Starlight was able to make a cake that quickly, you know, it would really help the business. I mean, they could really fill orders and such, and so it would really help. But, you know, she looked over that concept, and in a sense, I can kind of understand also, because, you know, you look at it like a small business. You don't want something else coming in that could jeopardize it. The small business has been run for a long period of time, like it has been. There's been no problems. Everybody is used to things the way that they are, and so, you know, there is no need to change. I mean, change could happen, but you don't want it to. And so, in a sense, I can understand that concept as well. So again, there's two different perspectives here that one could actually look at. Perhaps I'm delving into this particular thing a little bit too much, but again, that's something I myself see. And then we got to see also how, like I said, how good Starlight is with magic, and how she was able to do that. And then we also got to hear Big Mac talk again, and oh my gosh, it was hilarious. It was so freaking hilarious. It was so hilarious to hear Big Mac talk like that and be so articulate with his speech. And I love that, though. I really love that. It was so comical, and poor Phil. It was good. And then I also loved hear how Applejack had that face like, fix my brother back before I buck you into next week. I love that concept. And then we got Rarity here, and again, trying to help with fashion, you know, but, you know, and then she made that mention about the clearance bin. And one could probably, analyzing it, like, you kind of probably would think, why did she have a hat? I mean, both Starlight and Rarity are both unicorns, so why did she have a hat? Why did she try a hat on Starlight that didn't work for a unicorn? So, but, you know, it was probably designed for a Pegasus or an Earth Pony. And then Rainbow made the mention about about Spitfire here, and I was kind of hoping. Honestly, that's another character I really want to see later on in season 2 is Spitfire. I want to see Spitfire return. But we hopefully will also get more later on in regard to Rainbow Dash and the Wonderbolts later on as well. And this scene with Rainbow here, my gosh, that face. They did, oh my gosh, whoever animated that scene must have said, hey, let's do this as cartoony and loony as possible. Let's just go all out. Let's just go all out with this. They did a fantastic job with that. Oh my gosh, I can only imagine the memes and such that's probably going to start on Derpy Brew. I cannot wait to see that. That's just going to be freaking hilarious. And then whenever Rainbow just blasts off with that, like, with that sonic boom right there, and that little bit of effect, I mean, it's a minor thing, it's a minor detail, but I love that little aspect. Like, again, it's a minor detail, but I love that aspect. Like, whenever she blasts off, and that ripple effect that it caused, it's a minor thing, but it's really good. They did a really good job with that. Again, it added the effect, it added the realism, and it again, it's a tiny detail, but it's a subtle detail, and it's those little bitty subtle details that really help to make an animation. And again, it just worked. And the concept that Rainbow, she blasted off, she forgot that Starlight was not a Pegasus and could not fly. And then it's funny because Starlight had no idea who the Wonderbolts was, and Rainbow acted like, could you not know the Wonderbolts? And again, you have two different perspectives here. Rainbow, who has lived in Ponyville or just outside of Ponyville most of her life, you know, she grew up a fan of the Wonderbolts. Starlight grew up in Canterlot, and so she sort of was a bit more isolated. She started that town, and so not very many ponies came into the town or especially left, and so she was more isolated in terms of that. And so it's completely understandable, kind of from both characters' perspectives, and we got to see Starlight interacting with Angel Bunny, and yeah, somebody's probably already put several stamps on that and shipped that one off, I imagine. But we got to see some other returning background characters as well. And again, we also have to say we got Trixie. And so there's a little bit more to say regarding Trixie. I love the concept that Trixie come back. It was so great to be able to see her. I was actually hoping that we would get to see her this season at some point as well, because we haven't seen her since the last introduction of her in the last season. I forgot which one it was. Was it 3 or 4? Where she got a somewhat redeeming episode where she come back to challenge Twilight. And she was slightly forgiving. I wouldn't exactly call it a redeeming episode because, it was just slightly redeeming at the end. But, people wondered, is she a villain? Is she a good guy or good girl? What? And so I'm really glad that she came back, and she finally got a full redeeming episode. And again, this gave more insight to her personality, to her character. She got a lot more character development this time around. It wasn't just the great and powerful Trixie. That was still part of her persona, but this showed that there was a lot more to it. It was a lot more in depth. It was more detailed. And Trixie didn't fully refer to herself in third person. She talked in first person, and so it was more intricate. It was more in depth with her character. She had a lot more development, and she got a full redeeming episode, and it was a more emotional episode for her because like I said earlier, we got to see the emotional burdens that she had to deal with because of the past, what she'd done before, and so she was having to deal with that, and then she finally got some redemption, and she made a friend in Starlight, and so it just worked. It just worked, and she finally came back, and she got a redeeming episode. She was pretty basically also forgiven by Twilight, and she pretty kind of agreed to let bygones be bygones in a sense. They didn't say this directly, but given that interaction between them, it pretty much just worked out that way. And so I think I can imagine the two being a bit more closer friends now, but still having kind of always that friendly competition between each other. I can kind of see that between them. That seems like something that would happen between them. But again, I'm so glad that Trixie got to come back, and we got a redeeming episode with her, a full redeeming episode, and then just seeing the characters, the characters' mannerisms, and again the interactions here, with that moment whenever Twilight just smiled, that smile, oh my gosh, I could use that so much in real life. Again, I can use that smile because there's so many people that I have to work with that I can pretty much I would love to give that smile to. Actually, I have kind of given that smile to. Just that smile that says, "Get away from me." Or, "Go suck a duck." And, it just worked. I love that. I love that. And I hope somebody makes a meme of that. I hope somebody takes, a gif of that on Derpy-Roo, because, again, it works. It works. So many people can use it. So many people can take advantage of it. And then we got to see, I completely understand also what my friend was talking about DJ Paul and 3 and Derpy coming back. It was so cool to see Vinyl. It was so cool to see Vinyl and Derpy come back and see that interaction. We didn't get to see Vinyl without her glasses, but then again, she mostly wears the shades, and that's her persona, so yeah. And then we got to see little Derpy just flying along, waving, crashing, and just being Derpy. That would be me in real life. I look back and wave at somebody and bam, into a pole. That would be me. And again, just little Derpy, just so cute. And then we got and I know some people, I know how some people are, they're going to be like, Digimon 3 didn't speak this episode. Well, neither did Derpy. Derpy didn't speak either. This wasn't, and I don't think that it merited them a speaking role. I don't think that they had to speak. I think that the roles that they were given, that they played out in this episode, were just fine as they are. I don't think that they had to speak. And I know some people still wonder if Vinyl is mute or if she talks. I myself, either one works for me. My headcanon is that she can speak. She just doesn't really do it that much. Though some people imagine that she is mute, and I've rolled that with a headcanon as well. I wrote a fan fiction about it. So yeah, that works for me as well. And then again, just seeing Derpy just like derping with the muffins, we're just eating the muffins and just being Derpy, just so adorable. And just, I mean, it just works. I mean, Derpy and muffins, and they worked it in. I didn't actually notice it the first time around. But yeah, Derpy just eating muffins, which is her staple. And so, yay, we got to see Derpy eating muffins. And so, again, really cute. I'm so glad they brought them back. And it worked out like that. And then we got to see the interaction. Celestia. I have to say, the interaction with Celestia there, pardon me, just sitting there, looking bored. It was hilarious, her just like twirling that fork. I can't talk right now. Twirling the fork. I saw an image over on Derpy Brew of Celestia. It was a still shot, and it had it had word screen capped underneath of Twilight saying, "I'm effed, aren't I?" Well, as looking nervous as Celestia was holding that fork, and I started laughing. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. It looks so comical, and so it worked out for that. And again, I see where that came from. It was just comical how that worked out. And so the interaction with Celestia right there was just, I mean, great. It was so cool seeing her just kind of sitting there, being bored. I mean, that's something you don't really see. So it's great, again, even though it's just a little bit, it's great to see more of her and Luna's personality, and to see them kind of just be normal, just be like sisters. And so hopefully we'll get to see more of that as well in the future. And again, I have to talk about the lighting effects here, like the lighting effects in the backstage area with Starlight Glimmer and Trixie, and then whenever Twilight walked in, the lighting effects here was just absolutely gorgeous. And I mean, the lighting effects, the shading effects are just absolutely phenomenal. And again, it's one of those moments where you look back, but to season 1, and you look at it now, there's just so much advancement in terms of the animation, in terms of how that's done. I mean, it's just come so far, and it just looks so absolutely beautiful and gorgeous, and makes for just so many beautiful scenes. And the animation has really stepped up its game as well over the seasons, and it just makes it look all the more beautiful, all the more gorgeous. And it also adds to the effect of the scenes, of the drama, of the emotion that plays out in it. It makes it look more realistic in terms of that hit. I mean, it's still a cartoon, but it just looks so beautiful. It looks so artistic. It looks so gorgeous. And so I love that effect, and I love how the scenes were done. The background scenes, the nighttime scenes here were just absolutely phenomenal. Again, it just really worked, and they were just absolutely beautiful. And again, I love the fact that we got more in depth of Trixie's personality and everything, and we got to see that. And we got to see more of Trixie's character. We got to see more of her not being the normal brash Trixie, but just being, like down-to-earth Trixie. That was a really cool, interesting break in her character, but I really love that. It adds more to it. I mean, it shows that she is not just a one-dimensional character. There is more to her. There's more to her personality, and I love that whenever they give characters a lot of personality, and so there's a lot to take from. There's a lot to identify with, and a lot to build onto, and I love that concept. And so they did a fantastic job with Trixie's personality here. They did such a fantastic job. And then that final part where Cranky asks Celestia, how does she get her hair to do that? And then Celestia just sighs. I mean, she just sighs, and then just has that look. Like, this again, I've been asked this so many times over the past eons, I mean, I love that, and again, I mean, many people within the fandom has made that mention before, made that joke about how does Celestia and Luna get their hair to do that, and it was, I mean, I've seen, I think, some comics like that before, but I mean, it was just hilarious how that worked, and I love that gag right there at the end with Cranky asking that, and Celestia just sighing like either this question again or I'm bored, shoot me. I mean, it just worked. I love that final gag. And again, we end it with no answer. There's no clear answer, so it's still left up to people's interpretations, to people's headcanons. So again, a final gag, perfect. It clearly mimicked, or if not completely put in front the question that a lot of people have had before in regards to Celestia and Luna. I mean, that question put there, it just worked. I'm so glad they put that in there because, again, it's comical, and it shows that they're putting in more gags, more like references to what the fandom, I mean, to questions that the fandom has had before. I mean, like more more fourth wall breaking moments. It's comical. It's more. I mean, I love the concept of it. It kind of makes me think about the Emperor's New Groove, how self-aware that the characters were, and how the times that there was some references to. I mean, there were I think a few fourth wall breaking moments. It just made it all the more comical, and it just made it all the more gold. And so I'm so glad that they did that. It worked. I mean, it totally worked. I loved it. And hopefully we're going to see more gags at the end of the future. And I can only imagine the comics and the artwork that's going to pick up from this and pick up from that particular scene and do something like that. And so I'm really looking forward to that as well. And so again, I have to say, this was a phenomenal episode. There was so much about this episode that I absolutely loved. Like I just gushed over for probably the past 2 hours here. But again, I absolutely loved it. It was phenomenal. I absolutely adored this episode. To everybody that worked on this episode, thank you guys so much. Thank you to everybody that worked on this episode. This is a wonderful episode. And to everybody that told me for me to hurry and watch this episode, thank you guys again. I'm really glad you guys wanted to hear my thoughts, wanted to see my reaction to it. To my best friend who also told me, dude, you got to watch this episode. You're going to freak out. Thank you so much for further making me want to watch this episode. And again, thank you guys again for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I also want to hear what you think as well. What you think about it. And so thank you guys again for joining me. And I will see you guys in the next video that I do. Take care.